Hello darlings, how are you? Welcome to the Curious Mind of Raquel. I am your favorite mermaid mystic. So today's video is going to be all about robotic affirming. Now, I'm not one of those mermaid darlings that is going to be so adamant that I'm for it or that I'm against it. I believe that there is a great misunderstanding when it pertains to robotic affirming, and I'm going to go down the psychological aspect of that and share my experience with a story, several stories in regards to why oftentimes, now I'm not saying that it doesn't work because everyone's different. We all have different little fingerprints. We're all intricately so divinely made that we're different. So what would work for 100,000 people or 7 billion people might not work for that one person. So therefore what I want to do is accurately share some information and some kind of, I want to educate you about this, but I'm here to help you, help the collective. Why I want to help women most importantly, so that you can therefore help your daughters and help the people in your life, so we can consciously as a collective help improve and bring this new reigning new earth to the forefront. Okay, because this is the time of the Christ consciousness. Okay, we are in a new earth right now. So what most people do not understand, I'll time mark this too because I do like to prattle. So if you are not in for the prattling, my channel probably isn't for you as well. But if you like a good chin wag along with some little bit of stories or something like that, some people like to turn my channel on and just putting their little marigolds on and washing the dishes or folding laundry or whatever you want to do. So there's something for everyone. Okay, you have to understand robotic affirming in the sense that it has to do with the conscious and the subconscious brain. Okay, now as you well know, I grew up in religion. Okay, so I will always, just like Daddy Neville, I will revert back to instruction on the scriptures, in the scriptures, when it pertains to a psychological aspect of it. I don't believe in the Bible being what I was taught growing up, and I've not gone away or I'm lost or whatever. It's just that I now have come to understand for myself what the whole thing was all about. I was in two deep religions. I was a Mormon until I was 42 years old when I left the church and became, spiritual. And I say I swam back to who I really was, right? Because we all will come to an understanding of being resurrected. We all will come to that point in our lives when we wake up, okay? Just like the scriptures talk about, you will wake up. You will emerge from the sleep. And this is what that means. So the subconscious and the conscious in the Bible talks greatly about male and female, man, woman, and what that's meaning, loves, is not literally, it's not literally male, female, man, woman. A man will cleave unto the woman. Do you know what that means, love? It means the subconscious and the conscious mind. The subconscious is the female aspect of the brain, okay? The male aspect is the conscious aspect of the brain, okay? Now, when you robotic affirm, what happens is, as we're mermaids landlocked, okay? So I'm giving you an analogy and understand the metaphor. The metaphor is we are all beautiful mermaids, okay? The inner being of us is this magical goddess essence of a being that has control and dominion over everything, okay? Because that's what God is. We are all gods. Every single human being born of woman, okay? You have to be born of woman, is a god. You are a god. You can say God is God. There is no male, female, okay? When you are a collective, because our brain is inside our skull, okay? That is the tomb. You know when it talks about the tomb in the Bible? Okay, this is what that means. The tomb is the skull, okay? That is the things that are inside of the tomb, the skull of man. Now, when you think of that, you understand that the subconscious mind is what rules everything, which is the female, okay? Remember, stay with me here. The male is the conscious, and we operate mainly when we are in these vessels of our bodies, okay, our tangible bodies. We are working mainly on the conscious brain, which means the male aspect of us, okay, the conscious brain is the ones that's running everything in the day-to-day, okay? I'm making a cup of tea, I'm folding laundry, I'm putting the kettle on, I'm washing my children, getting them ready for bed. All of the things that I'm doing, my tasks, everything. And when you're robotic affirming, you're doing it mostly people are talking about their conscious reality, okay? And when you're robotic affirming like that, you're having to robotic affirm because you are trying to penetrate the subconscious mind. Now, that's not to say you can't, because when you daydream, when you are in that theta sleep, that essence of daydreaming, you are capable of manifesting. And when you're robotic affirming, if you're doing it in that state, okay, you can penetrate the subconscious. But it's very difficult in comparison that if you can consider it robotic affirming if you were to fall asleep with new beliefs on there. You know how I teach you. I'm going to give you a story and explaining why affirming, robotic affirming in the conscious reality of my day-to-day does not work. I did it for 3 years, okay? I did it for 3 years. Do you understand? This is not playtime. When I tell you that I'm serious about this, at becoming a master at teaching this stuff, it's not for the faint at heart. I'm doing this because I know what it means and how difficult it is in life when you struggle with being raised in a belief system that is absolutely barbaric. It's absolutely disempowering, makes you feel like you don't have much worth. You feel always like you're never enough. And I never want the beautiful mermaids that are in Stillwater, a petticoat society, to ever feel like that. I want you all beautiful mermaids to know of your divinity and the power that you hold, okay? And so this is why I am so passionate about my work. And like I said, I do not take this, I take this very seriously. Do you understand? And it's because I love you very much and I want to help women. And so therefore, that's why I really, really spend all of my time working on trying to be able to teach in a very simplistic way. Because when people try to teach things and they do not break things down, you have to also understand, because that's how the human mind works. That's how a landlocked mermaid works, okay? We are driven to want to understand things in a systematic, like, break this down for me. And when you try to overcomplicate or oversimplify something because you're gatekeeping and you don't want really people to know what you're doing or what really works, because if you do that and you give the person the information, you won't want to pay for the teachings, right? You won't want to pay for something that and I'm not saying that I have a problem with people purchasing teaching and coaching and all of that sort of thing. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I think it's wonderful. What I do have a problem with is something that you're taking advantage of people in this mindset that I've got to be something. You're ego driven because you really, really want to become this great like you're this great person and you're on the pedestal, and all of these other people are like beneath you. These are peasants beneath you. And that is not going to work in the Christ consciousness, the new age. It might have worked, and even a year ago it might have worked, but those people will fall away. That pyramid will fall away. It will be stripped beneath those kind of people that are absolutely egocentric and are really all for themselves, really, when it comes down to it. And like I said, I'm not saying, I would think that you hate my absolute soul if you did not want to pay me for my writings, if you didn't want to subscribe because you don't want me to get the ad revenue, if you were like, oh, that's too expensive, if I'm saying, oh no, I charge you, but I'm going to charge you $3,000 an hour, you know, for my teaching or my coaching, I would think you hate my guts. Or the student and you are ready to learn, the teacher will appear, right? We've always heard that. But I'm not all for these people, you know, buy my book. Buy my book for, you know, $14.95 if you want to know of all this stuff, because it will be in my book, The Little Mermaid's Transformational Tale. These kind of like get rich schemes, I'm not for that, because when you're not putting out the kind of information and you're not really diving deep into really wanting to help humanity, it's going to show. It will surface. I promise you, it will surface eventually. And because that's not how the world works. Do you understand? That's not law. Law is not like, oh, this worked and I did it that quick, okay? Now, for some areas and sometimes it can work that way, depending on your resistance to it. But mainly, life is about gestation. It is about seasons. It is about growth. It is about understanding the natural laws of the universe. It's like the law of the harvest. You know that law, the law of the harvest, okay? A person that has planted a garden and they do, we know the little story of the little red hen. What was the story of the little red hen? My darlings, it's because you cannot plant something and then you're like, look at me, I've got it all figured out, and I did it in like no time flat. I did it overnight. I did it in like 24 hours. These are scammers. These are people that are pulling the wool over your eyes. Do you understand? They do not care literally, deeply and connectively about you. They want your money. Do not provide them with the money, and let's see how long they stick around. So let's see how long they're your friends. Let's see how long that they care about your success stories. Let's see how long they care about you. And the proof is in the pudding, love. The proof is in the pudding. And so I want you to understand that. Now, also what I want to do is break down after breaking down the subconscious and the conscious, I want you to understand. Now, I tried, and I did this for 3 years. I didn't know if it was going to work. Obviously, I assumed that it perhaps might work. Robotic Affirming. And I even slept with the beliefs on at night. Now, 3 years comes around and I'm sitting there, this is like a year ago, and I'm thinking, this is not working. This is not working still. And I will give you the example. The example was that I was like, okay, I'm going to manifest that I have 1.5 million people on Instagram that are my followers, okay? Now, I wanted to do that because when you have a big platform, you are able to help many people, okay? Understandably, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's so, because if the belief that is not derivative of what the actual manifestation that you desire is linked together, it's not going to work, okay? And so this is my prime example. So I manifested, I did SATs, I listened to affirmations throughout the night for 3 years about the Instagram, okay? It wasn't the only thing that I did, but I had other beliefs on there. Those other beliefs actually penetrated my mind because I did not have resistance to them. But the one with the Instagram was not working. Now, this was until probably close to a year ago. I decided that, you know what, this has been 3 years, something's not working, okay? So that means that I wanted to go into the subconscious mind to understand, because I was doing it sleeping as well. So why wasn't it working? I realized there had to be a belief or a chakra that was it for me personally, right? Because everybody's so individual. But there had to be a chakra or the balancing. You know how I talk about the balancing of a mermaid? You have to have all these chakras aligned, or else you're going to be off kilter. You will be imbalanced and you're not going to manifest. Have you ever noticed there's some people that's like, oh, they're really good at manifesting like social media fame, but they really have a weight problem, or they really are good at having a relationship, but they're terrible when it comes to money. And so they, a lot of times when people are going through that in their lives, myself included, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I'm telling you this is what happens. You overcompensate for the other area, the other chakra in your life, right? So you might not be open with your heart chakra, but you're open with your root chakra. So if you make loads of money, you know how to make money, you know you're really good at it, you know how to make money, but your heart chakra's closed off. So you're never going to have a relationship, or anytime you try to venture into a relationship, it's going to become absolutely bonkers in your life. You're going to go mad. And then you'll probably subconsciously thwart that relationship because you're thinking that belief is ingrained in you because your heart chakra's off, that, oh, I can't have money and a great relationship, because somewhere inside of there's some kind of issue that's going on in your heart chakra. So this is what I'm really, really passionate about, is making sure as a fully developed landlocked mermaid, okay, the essence of who you are is the mermaid within, that you've got to have all your chakras aligned so that you are a balanced mermaid, okay? And this is how you obtain your sea legs. You become the greatest version of yourself, which is that mermaid goddess, okay? So what I realized is my solar plex and my throat were off kilter, okay? The balancing of those two things was off. This is why that was not working. Now, let me remind you that those two particular chakras have to do with, the throat has to do with communication. The throat has to do with self-expression. It has to do with self-worth. The heart governs the feeling accepted, feeling worth, feeling value, feeling enough. That belief is in that chakra, in your heart chakra. Your throat chakra is feeling that you're safe, that you can express yourself, that people, millions of people will listen to you. You will be able to be noticed. People will have this sense of wanting to find value in your words. But if you do not have that within yourself, I did not have that within myself, and all of the affirming and the robotic affirming you can do till the cows come home. I did it for 3 years. I documented it in my diary, okay? In my manifestation journal. And every day, systematically trying to understand, okay, where am I off? And until sometimes when you're in meditation that you could ask source, you can ask, I call it the great creator or the weaver of threads, okay, is that's who God is to me, the higher of myself, okay, Christ consciousness, is that ask in your meditation, ask in your, if you do tarot, or meditate on it and ask spirit to guide you, to help you have an experience, to understand that you can relinquish that kind of resistance that you've got in your body or your heart and your soul. Because if you're closed off in those aspects, like I was, because it's my heart, so that makes it very difficult because I have a barrier there. Do you understand? There's a shield. And so when you don't, that's what happens. And what happened with me is that prudence ended up passing, and it opened up, it was a tower moment for me, but it opened up my heart chakra. And then I started to realize, oh, this is why I can't imprint my subconscious mind when I was doing that. Think about how many times you're doing that. That's 8 hours every single night for 3 years, and it didn't work until I let go and said, you know what, when you're trying to force something, it's like the universe is like a vacuum. Yes, we've heard that. But when you try to force something, and I've talked about this a million times, darlings, is that, and I'm teaching myself as well, do not become under the illusion that I'm sitting here like I'm on this pedestal and I'm telling you stuff that like I'm so much smarter than you. You know, don't you hate when people do that? It's so unattractive. It's undignified. You know, please don't do that. You know, you're way too much into your ego there. But it's very off-putting. And so what I'm saying is, I don't want you to have to be a guinea pig and do this for that many years and realize, what the hell, did it work? I want you to understand, I'm trying to simplify this shit for you. Do you understand? I don't want you to spend 3 years doing robotic affirming and not getting your desire. Do you understand? That's how much I care about you. I'm willing to be your little pincushion. Okay? All right, loves. So when I understood that, in 3 days on Instagram, in 3 days, so I was seeing no progress, okay? No progress whatsoever. And my page is still just now starting to slowly grow. Now, I do believe it will become massively viral. Because I've now touched in on the basis of understanding where that belief stemmed from and where the chakra was that it was blocked. So once I did that, in 3 days, I had gained over like 75 followers. Now, you might say, oh, that's nothing. No one cares about that, Raquel. You have no followers. But when you understand that this whole entire world is pretend and it's not real, the money is not real, your 3D is not real, only on the basis that you believe it's real. So you have to become semi-delusional, okay? Because gods are not thinking, right? Because if I'm a goddess, I'm already a goddess. Think of how asinine this is if you're sitting there telling yourself every single day, I have 1.5 million Instagram followers. I have 1.5 million Instagram followers. I don't know why I chose that number. Everyone can choose a different number, but live in the end, like Daddy Neville talks about. That there's a reason you want your desires, okay? You want them because your higher self, the God aspect of you, the mermaid goddess within, already knows this stuff's already done. We're just acting it out now in the 3D, okay? That's the version that you're seeing. Now, in another timeline, I'm already done this. So the person that is Raquel over here that wants the Instagram followers, do you understand? I'm using this as an example because how better than to teach than to use your own life as an example. That if you're a goddess and you already have that, why are you affirming for it? You already have it. So what in the hell are you affirming that you want 1.5 million followers on Instagram? If nothing's real and you're a goddess, you're a god, so you already have what you want. Why are you affirming as if you don't have it? That's the thing that's asinine. So what I decided to start doing back year ago is to say, how am I going to heal the chakras within me? How am I going to be that balanced mermaid goddess within? I'm living in this landlocked world, yes, indeed. But how am I going to align my body, okay, and all my chakras to become the greatest mermaid goddess? That is what you need to focus on. Focus on the belief. Therefore, what I did was I implemented new beliefs, and those are associated with my throat chakra and my heart chakra, which is the throat. If you have problems with self-expression, you have problems with self-worth, these are all things of not feeling safe. If you have anxiety, and you hear people talk about anxiety, I need my anxiety medicine, I have anxiety. Anxiety is the fear of not feeling safe. I'm telling you, that's the definition. That is the true essence of why people have anxiety. It is that you do not feel safe. You do not feel safe in your environment. You do not feel safe in saying your truth. You do not feel safe in expressing yourself. You do not feel safe in, like me, I must have not somewhere inside of me, in my heart chakra, I did not feel safe in my throat either in saying what I feel, speaking my truth with expression, because if a load of people hear me, that would terrify me. Now I'm not terrified because I changed the belief of where that was based on the chakras, okay? So this is what we want to focus on, and not the robotic affirming necessarily. Now, you'll really still systematically, you are affirming in your mind when you are sleeping with beliefs on at night and you are penetrating the subconscious mind. Let's forget about the conscious. Why do you want to have a job all day long of walking around saying this particular affirmation? It's exhausting. It's tiring. It's frustrating. You become absolute disillusioned because you feel like giving up constantly because it's not natural, love. It's not natural. Some people take these things and they go full throttle with them, and they think just because it worked in one area, I guarantee you, I could find the people, show me all the people that claim robotic affirming works. Show me the people, and I guarantee you one of their chakras is off. They're not manifesting everything. Just because you see like numbers on Instagram or numbers on YouTube, or you see them shopping a lot, or you see them traveling a lot, that doesn't mean that they figured it all out. You probably know way more than them in some area, but they've just highlighted on the highlight reel of their lives all the things that look sparkly and wonderful to you, okay? But you're a mermaid, so you know what sparkle means, right? Sparkle comes from within, not externally. Do you understand, loves? This is what a true mermaid is. We've got fake mermaids all over the place, but understand, you will know and resonate with a true mermaid, the essence of you, when you are working on the internal, not the external. Okay, it's not about what the world has. It's not what everyone's seeing. You're seeing the Instagram numbers. You're seeing, oh, that person's it. So why are you so inclined to see things from the perspective of glitz and glamour? And it's all an illusion, love. It's all an illusion. But we are capable of doing that because we're mermaid goddesses. We can create the illusion. But let's do it authentically. How about that? Let's do it authentically. So what I hope you've come away with is, let's talk about it in a summarized version, okay? You have to understand what robotic affirming is, why it doesn't work, what the subconscious and the conscious mind is, the female and the male version. Understand why things penetrate the subconscious mind and not the conscious, okay? I want you to understand when your chakras are misaligned, that you need to work on the chakras, which is the baseline of who you are as a person. Now, yours might not be your throat and your heart chakra. You might have a solar plexus. You might have a root chakra. You might have other ones, okay? You might, your third eye. You might be imbalanced in another area than what I am, because we're all so uniquely wonderful and different. You are individually the most beautiful mermaid of all, okay? Just the way that you are. And so I want you to stop viewing other people, even on YouTube, as something, even myself, as some person that's this great beyond all. It's not real, love. Just understand they're all people, just like that celebrity, just like whoever you deem this highly successful person. They're just another person. That's all. They manifested fame. You can manifest whatever you want. You're no different than them. They're not better than you. They're not beneath you. You're not better than them. You're not beneath them. Okay? We're all one. We're all one. You're God. They're God. We all do things differently. But no one's better than you. Okay? No one's beneath or above you. We're all the same. All right? All right, I hope that you enjoyed this and you derived some benefit from it. And if you did, and you like this kind of information, and you like this kind of content, perhaps you might think about subscribing if you would like to. And as always, I'm most affably yours until my next swim. Cheers, darlings. Toodle pip.